In the vast tapestry of Middle-earth, there are realms where the land itself seems to breathe, where silence is filled not with emptiness, but with memory, and where every root and branch bears witness to the passage of ages. These are the forests of Arda, places that live, endure, and remember far beyond the fleeting lives of men. Before we journey further into the story, if you could take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, it would help us bring more tales from Arda to life. Now, let's return to the story. From the earliest days of Arda, when the world was still young and shaped by the hands of the Valar, forests were imbued with life beyond mere vegetation. They were places of mystery and power, resonating with the memory of creation itself. The great trees of the world, such as the Malorn of Lothlorien and the towering oaks of Fangorn, did not simply grow, they endured, they remembered, and in subtle ways, they acted. The memory of the past, the echo of ancient songs, was woven into their roots and leaves. In Tolkien's Legendarium, the forests often play a dual role, both sanctuary and sentinel. They provide refuge to those who respect their ancient ways and pose peril to those who trespass without understanding. Lothlorien, the golden realm of Galadriel and Celeborn, is a testament to the elves' deep symbiosis with nature. Here, the Malorn trees are not only remarkably tall and beautiful, but they are also repositories of time, preserving a serenity and awareness far beyond the comprehension of men. Each leaf, each branch, is a reminder of the harmony that once defined the relationship between the children of Ilúvatar and the natural world. Yet not all forests are tranquil. Fangorn Forest, home to the enigmatic Ents, embodies a living memory that is older and perhaps even wiser than the civilizations that rise and fall around it. Within this forest, trees are aware, capable of speech, movement, and judgment. They witness the unfolding of history from an untouched by haste. The Ents themselves, shepherds of the forest, are a manifestation of the principle that in Middle-earth, life is interconnected, and even trees can hold agency. The forests of Middle-earth are more than mere backdrops to the epic struggles of elves, men, and other races. They are active participants in the story, shaping events in ways subtle and profound. Consider Mirkwood, once Greenwood the Great, whose shadowed paths conceal both danger and wisdom. The very soil of this forest is steeped in the lingering influence of Melkor and later the Spider Queen Ungoliant. It is a forest that bears witness to the corruption of power and the resilience of life, teaching that even in darkness, the pulse of the world persists. Tolkien's writing repeatedly emphasizes the sentience of these forests. The Ents of Fangorn are perhaps the clearest example, yet even trees in Lothlorien or the woods of Rivendell possess an inherent awareness. They respond to the presence of elves, bending their branches in reverent acknowledgement, and subtly influence the movements of those who traverse their realms. The interplay between sentience and environment creates a profound moral and spiritual lesson that all living things carry memory and intention, and the balance of the natural world is a responsibility of its inhabitants. Beyond their agency, Middle-earth's forests serve as temporal anchors. They preserve echoes of the ages long past. In Fangorn, the Ents recount tales of the Elder Days, of wars and alliances that predate even the memory of most men. Through these forests, Tolkien communicates a sense of continuity and endurance. Unlike the fleeting lives of mortals, forests endure across centuries, maintaining a perspective on the unfolding of history that is both patient and impartial. Their slow, deliberate rhythms remind the observer that time itself is a living force in Arda, not merely a measure of events. It is within these living forests that the interweaving of myth, morality, and natural wonder becomes most evident. They embody the consequences of actions, both destructive and nurturing, showing that life in Middle-earth is interconnected, and that the health of the forests mirrors the health of its peoples. When dark forces rise, forests can wither or shift in response. When goodness endures, they flourish, offering sanctuary and guidance. In this way, Tolkien's forests are not static scenery, but dynamic, moral landscapes, shaping and reflecting the epic struggles that define the ages of Middle-earth. The living forests of Middle-earth are inseparable from the tales of heroes and wanderers who pass through them. Take, for example, the journey of the Fellowship through Lothlorien. Here, the trees are silent witnesses to the courage, fear, and hope of those who seek to resist Sauron's shadow. Galadriel's mirror reflects not only the fates of the Fellowship, but also the deep, ancient awareness of the Melorn trees themselves, whose presence is a reminder of the enduring power and wisdom of nature. The forest is not passive. It shapes perception, instills clarity, and provides refuge for those attuned to its rhythms. Fangorn Forest tells a different story, one of patience and latent strength. When Merry and Pippin first wander into its depths, they encounter an environment that is cautious, even foreboding. Yet as their understanding grows, so too does the forest's interaction with them. The Ents, embodying the consciousness of the forest, deliberate over the fate of Isengard, demonstrating that forests can act as agents of justice. Tolkien's narrative shows that forests are not merely inhabited spaces, they are moral and strategic forces, capable of altering the course of wars and shaping the destinies of civilizations. Mirkwood, in contrast, reveals the consequences of neglect and corruption. Once Greenwood the Great, it falls under shadow through the influence of Morgoth's remnants and Ungoliant's descendants. Its darkness is a mirror to the spiritual decay that can infect Middle-earth, a reminder that forests, like societies, must be protected and respected. The journeys of Thorin Oakenshield and Bilbo Baggins through Mirkwood illustrate both the peril and the learning inherent in navigating these ancient spaces. Every step among the towering trees is fraught with lessons about caution, courage, and the unseen forces that shape the world. Beyond their physical and historical presence, the forests of Middle-earth carry profound symbolic and metaphysical weight. They are not merely landscapes, but living extensions of the world's spiritual and moral order. In Tolkien's Legendarium, the Valar shaped Arda with intention and purpose, and within this creation, forests serve as both expression and reflection of that divine design. The harmony of Lothlorien, the vigilance of Fangorn, and even the shadowed menace of Mirkwood illustrate the connection between the spiritual health of the world and the vitality of its forests. Forests act as repositories of knowledge, memory, and time. The Ents of Fangorn, for instance, are an embodiment of this principle. They preserve the memory of the elder days, recalling events and agreements long before the rise of men. Their deliberations, slow yet deliberate, echo the rhythm of nature itself, a reminder that wisdom often requires patience and observation. Trees in Tolkien's work are not merely passive witnesses, but active participants in the moral and historical unfolding of Middle-earth. They serve as conduits for understanding the passage of ages and the consequences of deeds, whether noble or ignoble. Lothlorien exemplifies the sacred dimension of forests. Under the stewardship of Galadriel and Celeborn, the Malorn trees stand as a living testament to the enduring connection between elves and the natural world. The forest embodies an equilibrium, a delicate interplay of light and shadow, growth and restraint. To enter Lothlorien is to step into a space where time itself feels suspended, and the natural order communicates a sense of clarity and foresight. Here, the forest is a teacher, guiding the hearts of those who enter with lessons about humility, respect, and the impermanence of mortal endeavors. Even forests tainted by shadow retain traces of this moral and spiritual significance. Mirkwood, darkened by the lingering influence of Morgoth and the predation of Ungoliant's descendants, teaches that corruption can infect not only the hearts of beings, but the land itself. Yet, within that darkness, life persists. Creatures survive, paths endure, and hidden lessons remain. Tolkien's forests convey the central truth that the vitality of the world and the persistence of goodness are dependent on vigilance, respect, and care, a principle as relevant in Arda as it is in the real world. The forests of Middle-earth are not passive witnesses to history. They are active participants in its unfolding. Perhaps no event illustrates this more vividly than the march of the Ents on Isengard. For centuries, the trees of Fangorn endured the presence of Saruman's industry, witnessing the felling of forests and the despoiling of the land. Yet they did not act hastily. The Ents, embodiments of the forest's sentience, deliberated long before intervening. Their decision to march against Isengard was a judgment rendered from centuries of observation, an assertion that nature itself possesses both memory and moral discernment. This act of forest-driven justice underscores Tolkien's philosophy of interconnectedness. The fate of civilizations, whether elves, men, or dwarves, is inseparable from the vitality of the natural world. When the forests are respected and nurtured, they support life and growth. When they are violated or ignored, they exact retribution, often in ways that alter the course of history. In the Ents intervention, we see a profound example of the forest as arbiter, demonstrating that the preservation of life requires vigilance, and that even the smallest voice of nature, when united, can challenge the mightiest of powers. Meanwhile, Lothlorien offers a contrasting example where the forest protects and preserves rather than confront. During the Fellowship's passage, the Malorn trees and the vigilant elves shielded them from both physical and spiritual harm. The forest acted as a sanctuary, its living presence reinforcing the protective power of wisdom and harmony with nature. The golden woods of Galadriel's realm remind viewers that forests in Middle-earth are not merely obstacles or backdrops, they are allies, guiding and sheltering those who respect the balance of life. Mirkwood, too, plays a decisive role in the shaping of Middle-earth's narratives. Its shadowed paths test the courage, patience, and moral discernment of those who enter. Bilbo's traversal through the dense and dangerous forest exemplifies this interplay of challenge and growth. The forest itself is both adversary and teacher, demanding attentiveness and ingenuity, rewarding perseverance and punishing arrogance. Through such interactions, Tolkien communicates that forests are living embodiments of moral and natural law, shaping not only the physical journey of characters, but the ethical and spiritual dimensions of their paths. Tolkien's depiction of forests reflects a deeply rooted ecological and philosophical vision, one that resonates far beyond the pages of his fiction. He portrays forests not merely as scenery,
but as living, conscious entities whose well-being is inseparable from the moral and ethical choices of the inhabitants of Middle-earth. Industrialization and reckless exploitation, as embodied by Saruman's machinery in Isengard, or the spreading shadow over Mirkwood, are shown to exact a tangible cost, corrupting both land and spirit. In contrast, forests that are respected, such as Lothlorien, flourish, offering guidance, sanctuary, and continuity. This philosophy underscores Tolkien's understanding of interconnectedness. Forests in Middle-earth are more than ecosystems. They are repositories of memory, history, and culture. The Malorn trees preserve the timelessness of elvish wisdom, while the Ents embody a living archive of past ages. Their existence reminds us that nature is both witness and participant, and that the stewardship of the land carries profound responsibility. Tolkien's forests are an extension of moral law. When humans, elves, or other races act in harmony with nature, life thrives. When they violate it, consequences ripple outward in unexpected and sometimes catastrophic ways. Tolkien also illustrates the pedagogical power of forests. They are teachers in patience, vigilance, and humility. Bilbo and the Fellowship learn through their traversal of these realms that courage, observation, and respect are as essential as skill or strength. The slow, deliberate movements of the Ents, the quiet vigilance of Lothlorien's trees, and even the perils of Mirkwood communicate lessons that transcend narrative. They convey a worldview in which life, memory, and morality are inseparable from the natural world. Moreover, the forests serve as temporal anchors, connecting the fleeting lives of mortals to the enduring rhythms of Arda. Whereas men may rise and fall, the forests endure across centuries, preserving knowledge and perspective. They embody the continuity of history, the persistence of memory, and the moral framework that underpins the unfolding of events. In Tolkien's mission, to encounter a forest is to encounter the living history of the world itself, to be reminded that the fate of all creatures and the success of any endeavor is intertwined with the health and spirit of the land they inhabit.
Within Middle-earth, certain trees stand as symbols of history, memory, and the living presence of the forests themselves. The party tree of Hobbiton, though unassuming compared to the Malorns of Lothlorien or the oaks of Fangorn, carries immense cultural significance. It is a place of gathering, celebration, and community, illustrating how even a single tree can influence the rhythms of daily life. Though seemingly ordinary, it embodies the enduring connection between hobbits and the natural world, a microcosm of Tolkien's broader ecological vision. The Malorn trees of Lothlorien, by contrast, are monuments of both beauty and endurance. Their golden leaves capture the light of the sun in a manner that is at once ethereal and symbolic. To the elves, these trees are more than home. They are a living extension of their culture, history, and wisdom. Each Malorn is a sentinel of time, its slow growth and unwavering presence a reminder of the permanence of nature amidst the transient lives of mortals. The tree's ability to preserve the tranquility and sanctity of Lothlorien underscores their role as guardians of moral and spiritual order. Fangorn Forest houses some of the oldest and most formidable oaks in Middle-earth. These ancient sentinels have witnessed the rise and fall of kingdoms, the ebb and flow of wars, and the passage of countless generations of creatures. Their immense size and presence convey a sense of awe and reverence, emphasizing the forest's function as both teacher and judge. The Ents, who care for and speak through these trees, illustrate that the wisdom of the forest is not passive. It evaluates, responds, and acts when necessary, affirming Tolkien's assertion that nature is a living, morally resonant force. Even forests affected by shadow retain their significance. Mirkwood, though darkened and perilous, houses ancient trees that embody memory and resilience. They endure the corruption of evil forces, silently preserving the knowledge and history of ages past. The forest's presence teaches that vitality and moral integrity can persist even under oppression, and that patience, awareness, and courage are essential virtues for any who navigate the natural world. Through these legendary trees and forests, Tolkien communicates that the land itself is a participant in history, a keeper of wisdom, and a moral compass, linking the fates of individuals, communities, and civilizations to the enduring life of Middle-earth. Tolkien's forests often serve as moral mirrors, reflecting both the virtues and vices of those who enter them. Lothlorien, with its golden Malorn trees and serene rivers, embodies harmony, wisdom, and protection. It is a sanctuary where the natural and the spiritual coexist, and where the presence of sentient beings like Galadriel amplifies the forest's own consciousness. Travelers in Lothlorien are guided, nurtured, and shielded. The forest rewards reverence, patience, and humility, reinforcing Tolkien's ideal of moral alignment with nature. In contrast, corrupted or shadowed forests act as tests and warnings. Mirkwood, once Greenwood the Great, serves as a cautionary tale about neglect, greed, and the insidious spread of evil. Its darkness is both physical and symbolic, reflecting the moral decay that arises when the natural world is violated or ignored. Travelers are challenged at every turn, forced to navigate a space where danger and deception are omnipresent. Bilbo's journey through Mirkwood demonstrates that courage and cleverness are necessary to survive, but equally essential is respect for the living environment, highlighting the intricate interplay between ethics and ecology. Fangorn Forest occupies an intermediate position between these extremes. It is neither holy sanctuary nor holy peril, but a deliberate and patient force. The Ents' careful observation and eventual intervention at Isengard revealed that forests judge the actions of civilizations over time. The moral lesson is clear. Nature is not passive. It remembers, it responds, and it possesses the capacity to correct imbalance. The Ents' March is not only a pivotal historical event, but a manifestation of the forest's agency, demonstrating that the health and integrity of the natural world are inseparable from the broader moral and political order. Through these contrasts, Tolkien conveys that forests are living extensions of Arda's moral and spiritual framework. Sanctuaries like Lothlorien teach care, respect, and alignment with the natural order. Shadowed woods like Mirkwood warn of corruption, neglect, and moral blindness. Fangorn, in its measured deliberation, exemplifies the consequences of human or mortal action and the agency of the land itself. In Middle-earth, the fate of individuals and civilizations is intimately tied to the state of the forests, making them more than scenery. They are active participants in the ethical and historical tapestry of the world. Forests in Middle-earth serve not only as physical sanctuaries, but repositories of ancient knowledge, culture, and history. They preserve the memory of ages long past, holding within their roots, branches, and leaves the stories of those who came before. The Ents of Fangorn, for example, carry the living history of the Elder Days, recounting events predating the rise of men and even the establishment of elven realms. Through them, the forest itself becomes a storyteller, teaching that memory and continuity are as vital to the world as courage or strength. Songs, poems, and oral traditions are closely tied to these living landscapes. Elvish poetry often celebrates the beauty and power of the forests, capturing their timelessness and sanctity. In Rivendell and Lothlorien, Music and verse are inseparable from the environment, reflecting a culture in which knowledge, art, and nature are intertwined. Every melody and every whispered story reinforces the idea that forests are not inert. They are participants in cultural transmission, linking generations and preserving wisdom that might otherwise be lost. The forests of Middle-earth do not exist in isolation. They are part of a complex and interconnected natural world, linked to rivers, mountains, plains, and even the skies above. Tolkien's vision presents Arda as a living, breathing ecosystem, where every element influences and responds to the others. Rivers nourish the forests, mountains shelter them, and winds carry seeds and songs across vast distances. This intricate web reinforces the idea that no part of the natural world exists purely for aesthetic or utilitarian purposes. Every element participates in sustaining life and preserving balance. The Anduin River, flowing through the Great Greenwood and past the borders of Fangorn, illustrates this connection vividly. Its waters sustained the forests, shaping their growth and defining the paths of travel for both creatures and peoples. The river's presence is a reminder that the vitality of forests is inseparable from the broader environment, and that changes in one domain inevitably ripple through the others. Similarly, the Misty Mountains and White Mountains influence the climates, soils, and ecosystems of adjacent forests, demonstrating Tolkien's meticulous attention to ecological realism. Mountains, plains, and forests together form corridors of life, migration, and culture. Many Elvish realms are located in regions where these features converge, emphasizing a deliberate harmony between habitation and nature. The forests, in turn, provide shelter, resources, and spiritual significance to the peoples who dwell nearby. This interdependence conveys a powerful lesson. The fate of Middle-earth's peoples is inseparable from the health and balance of the natural world, and vice versa. When forests thrive, civilization flourishes. When forests are corrupted, decay and danger spread. Tolkien's ecological vision extends beyond practical survival to the spiritual and moral dimensions of life. Forests, mountains, and rivers are not neutral. They respond to the ethical and environmental choices of sentient beings. When Saruman despoils Isengard, it is not only a moral failing, but an ecological one, provoking the wrath of the Ents and demonstrating the interconnected consequences of destructive actions. Conversely, the flourishing of Lothlorien and Rivendell reflects respect, stewardship, and ethical harmony with nature. In Tolkien's world, the web of life is alive, conscious, and morally resonant, with forests at its heart. The living forests of Middle-earth serve as profound reflections on mortality, time, and the endurance of nature. While the lives of men and hobbits are fleeting, and even elves, despite their longevity, must contend with change, the forests endure across ages. Their slow growth and enduring presence offer a sense of continuity that contrasts sharply with the impermanence of individual lives. In Tolkien's narrative, this juxtaposition invites contemplation of mortality, teaching that while life is transient, the natural world preserves memory, wisdom, and beauty beyond the span of any one being. In Fangorn, the oaks and the Ents themselves exemplify the deep passage of time. Their patience and deliberation remind observers that history unfolds slowly and that the consequences of actions are not always immediate. The forests hold a long memory, retaining the echoes of wars, alliances, and the rise and fall of civilizations. Their endurance emphasizes the importance of foresight, stewardship, and humility, highlighting that the natural world outlasts both glory and folly. This perspective encourages not only respect for nature, but a deeper awareness of humanity's place within the flow of time. Lothlorien too illustrates this temporal depth. The Malorn trees, with their golden leaves and timeless serenity, embody the elves' longing to preserve beauty and wisdom across the ages. Here, time seems suspended, offering travelers a rare opportunity to reflect, learn, and prepare for the challenges ahead. The forest's enduring presence reinforces the notion that the natural world can guide, teach, and protect those attuned to its rhythms. Tolkien uses these forests to communicate that while individuals may fade, the enduring patterns of life and memory are preserved within the living land. Even shadowed forests, such as Mirkwood, teach lessons about resilience and continuity. Though darkened and perilous, they remain a home to countless creatures and retain traces of their former vitality. The persistence of life within corrupted landscapes reflects the broader theme that nature, though vulnerable, possesses remarkable endurance. In this way, Tolkien's forests are both mirrors and mentors, prompting reflection on mortality, the consequences of action, and the enduring power of life. They remind all who enter that the world is older and larger than any one being, and that wisdom, patience, and respect for nature are essential for survival and understanding. The living forests of Middle-earth shape not only the physical journeys of characters, but their moral and psychological development. Within these ancient woods, courage, humility, and wisdom are tested, nurtured, and revealed. The challenges presented by shadowed paths or dense thickets demand more than strength. They require discernment, patience, and respect for the living world. Through these interactions, Tolkien demonstrates that character is forged as much by engagement with the natural world as by confrontations with foes. Bilbo Baggins's passage through Mirkwood exemplifies this dynamic. Surrounded by darkness and uncertainty, he must navigate treacherous terrain, avoid deadly spiders, and overcome his own fears. The forest tests his resourcefulness and patience, shaping him into the clever and courageous hero who will later face greater trials. Every step through the shadowed wood is a lesson in humility and awareness. The forest does not act with malice, but with the impartiality of a teacher demanding attention and respect. In this sense, Mirkwood becomes a crucible of growth, where the moral and psychological dimensions of a character are honed through interaction with the living world. Fangorn Forest offers a different kind of moral education. The Ents' deliberation before acting against Isengard illustrates the virtues of patience, justice, and deliberative action. Through observation of the forest and its sentient guardians, characters learn that power is not exercised recklessly and that moral choices have enduring consequences. The forest itself becomes a guide, shaping not only events but the ethical perspectives of those who encounter it. The slow, deliberate rhythms of Fangorn instill a sense of proportion, teaching that true wisdom often requires restraint and reflection. In Lothlorien, the psychological and spiritual impact of the forest is equally profound. The Malorn trees, along with Galadriel's presence, provide clarity and insight, allowing travelers to confront doubts, fears, and uncertainties with greater understanding. The forest acts as a mirror to the mind and heart, offering lessons in foresight, prudence, and empathy. Across Middle-earth, Tolkien's living forests serve as moral and psychological arenas where courage is tested, wisdom is cultivated, and the interplay between human, or elvish, agency and natural law is revealed. The forests are thus integral to the shaping of character, providing experiences and challenges that cannot be replicated elsewhere in the world.
The forests of Middle-earth ultimately convey enduring lessons about balance, stewardship, and the interdependence of all life. Tolkien portrays nature as a network of relationships, where every action has consequences that ripple outward through the web of life.
When civilizations respect the forests, harmony prevails. When they exploit or corrupt them, disaster follows. In this way, the health of the forests becomes a moral barometer, reflecting the ethical alignment of the peoples of Arda. Fangorn Forest exemplifies this principle most clearly. The Ents' measured response to Saruman's deforestation of Isengard demonstrates that nature possesses agency and memory. Their intervention restores balance, punishing those who disrupt it and reinforcing the concept that stewardship is not merely an ideal, but a responsibility with tangible consequences. The forest acts not as a passive backdrop, but as an arbiter of justice, illustrating that moral and ecological integrity are inseparable. In Lothlorien, stewardship takes the form of preservation. Galadriel and Celeborn maintain the forest's balance through care, respect, and vigilant protection. The Malorn trees, radiant and enduring, are a testament to the rewards of ethical engagement with nature. Tolkien's depiction here suggests that harmony with the natural world enables flourishing, provides sanctuary, and imparts wisdom. The forest nurtures those who act rightly, teaching that humans, elves, and other beings share responsibility for sustaining life and preserving the lessons embedded in the land. Even forests under shadow, such as Mirkwood, underscore the same lesson through cautionary example. The perils within the darkened woods illustrate the consequences of neglect, greed, or moral compromise. Yet, even amid darkness, life endures, demonstrating resilience and the potential for renewal. Tolkien's living forests, in all their forms, embody a vision of interdependence. The fate of individuals, communities, and civilizations is inseparable from the vitality and balance of the natural world. By portraying forests as sentient, moral, and enduring, Tolkien imparts a profound ecological and ethical vision, one in which respect for nature is inseparable from the pursuit of wisdom, courage, and justice. Across the vast expanse of Middle-earth, the living forests stand as enduring witnesses to the ebb and flow of history, the rise and fall of kingdoms, and the deeds of heroes and villains alike. They are repositories of memory, teachers of wisdom, and arbiters of justice. From the golden Malorns of Lothlorien to the shadowed paths of Mirkwood, from the ancient oaks of Fangorn to the humble party tree of Hobbiton, each forest carries lessons about courage, patience, morality, and the interconnectedness of life. Through Tolkien's narrative, it becomes clear that forests are not mere scenery or aesthetic embellishments. They are active participants in the moral, historical, and ecological life of Arda. The forests judge, guide, shelter, and respond to the actions of sentient beings. They preserve culture, safeguard knowledge, and provide context for reflection and growth. By portraying nature in this living, responsive, and morally resonant manner, Tolkien underscores a central truth. The health of the world and the flourishing of life are inseparable from the care, respect, and ethical engagement of its inhabitants. The living forests also offer a lens through which to contemplate the nature of time and mortality. Unlike men, whose lives are brief, or elves whose memories extend over millennia, the forests endure across ages, carrying the wisdom and experiences of generations. They teach patience, resilience, and foresight. In their presence, mortals and immortals alike gain perspective, understanding that the actions of the present are interwoven with the legacies of the past and the possibilities of the future. Finally, Tolkien's forests remind us of the spiritual dimension of the natural world. They are sacred spaces, repositories of harmony, and embodiments of the enduring beauty and wisdom of creation. They inspire reverence, contemplation, and humility. In every branch, every leaf, and every root, the forests of Middle-earth communicate a profound lesson: that life, memory, morality, and the natural world are inseparably intertwined, and that respect for the land is inseparable from respect for the self, for others, and for the unfolding story of the world itself. Ultimately, The forests of Middle-earth stand as enduring symbols of life, memory, and moral resonance. They are living chronicles of the ages, witnesses to the deeds of elves, men, dwarves, and hobbits, and custodians of the wisdom and balance of the world. Through them, Tolkien illustrates that nature is not a passive backdrop, but an active participant in the unfolding of history, shaping events, influencing decisions, and preserving the lessons of generations. The forests teach that courage and wisdom are inseparable from respect for the natural world. They show that patience, observation, and humility are as vital as valor or strength. From the vigilant Ents of Fangorn to the protective tranquility of Lothlorien, the forests embody principles that guide, judge, and sustain. They remind all who encounter them that life, memory, and morality are entwined with the vitality of the land, and that ethical stewardship of the world is both a responsibility and a necessity. In reflecting on Tolkien's living forests, one realizes that their significance extends beyond the narrative of Middle-earth. They serve as enduring metaphors for the real-world connections between humans and nature, highlighting the consequences of neglect, the rewards of reverence, and the timeless lessons embedded in the natural world. They inspire wonder, respect, and contemplation, offering insights into the past, guidance for the present, and hope for the future. The forests of Middle-earth endure, carrying within their roots the memory of ages, the echoes of song, and the pulse of life itself. They are sanctuaries, judges, teachers, and witnesses, and in their quiet, enduring presence, they convey one Tolkien's most profound truths: that the fate of the world, the flourishing of its peoples, and the preservation of wisdom and beauty are inseparable from the care and respect given to the living land. If you enjoyed this story, feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.